A king lived in a beautiful palace. The palace had a very big garden with a lot of lovely flowers. People walked through the garden and looked at the flowers. Then they walked through a beautiful wood to the sea. A nightingale lived in a tree in the wood. It sang beautifully. Every night an old man came through the wood to the sea. He wanted to catch fish. He stood and listened to the little bird. "Oh, that's a pretty song," he thought, and he cried. Visitors from many other countries came to see the king. "We like your city, your palace, and your garden," they told the king. "They're very beautiful," some visitors heard the little bird. "Nothing is as beautiful as the nightingale's voice," they said. They wrote books about the city, the palace, and the garden, and they always wrote wonderful things about the nightingale. Other people round the world read these books, and one day the king saw one. He read and he was very happy. "But nothing is as good as the nightingale's voice," the book said. "What's this?" asked the king. "The nightingale. I don't know this bird. Is there really a bird with a beautiful voice in my garden? Nobody told me." We learn a lot of new things from books, so the king called his most important servant. "People say there's a very pretty bird here," said the king. "They say that it sings very beautifully. I want the nightingale to sing to me tonight." "I don't know this nightingale," said the servant, "but I'll find it." But where was the bird? The servant ran everywhere. He asked the other servants, but they knew nothing about it. He went to the king and said, "There's no nightingale here. I can't find it." "A great king sent me this book," said the king. "It says there's a nightingale in my garden. Bring it here now, or I'll be very angry." The servant ran through the palace and its gardens, and the other servants ran, too. Then they found a young girl in the palace kitchen and asked her about the nightingale. "Oh, yes. It sings in the wood near the sea. It has a beautiful voice. I take some food through the wood to my mother every night because she's very ill. Sometimes I sit down in the wood and then I hear the nightingale's song." "Little girl," said the servant, "please take us to the nightingale." The other servants went with them. On their way to the wood, they heard a cow. "There's the nightingale," one man said. "It sings very nicely." "No, that's a cow," the little girl said. "We're a long way from the nightingale's home, near a small river in the garden. Some toads started to make a noise." "Now I can hear it," said a servant. "No, those are toads." "They have ugly voices," said the little girl. "But we'll hear the nightingale in these trees." Then the small bird started to sing. "There it is," the little girl said. She showed them a little bird in one of the trees. "Is that the nightingale?" asked a servant. "It isn't very pretty. The other birds are prettier and more interesting." "Little nightingale," the girl called. "Our king wants you to sing something to him." "I'll be happy to sing to the king," the nightingale said. "It has a beautiful voice," said the servant. "It will make the king and his friends very happy." "Where is the king?" the little bird asked. "Isn't he here in the wood?" "Pretty little bird, you're going to the king's palace tonight. You'll sing there," the servant said. "I live happily in the green trees. Can I sing inside a palace?" "I don't know," said the nightingale. "But the king wants me to sing to him, so I'll try." And the little bird went with the servants to the palace. The king sat in a great room in his palace, and the nightingale sat on a table. The king's servants and his friends were in the room. They all looked at the nightingale. The little bird started to sing. It sang beautifully. The king started to cry, and so everybody cried with him. "Your songs make me happy," the king said. "I'll give you some pretty shoes." "Thank you," the nightingale said, "but I don't want anything. You cry when you hear my songs, and that makes me happy." Then it sang again. "Please stay in my palace," said the king. "You can go out into the wood every morning and afternoon, and again every night." He gave the nightingale servants. They went everywhere with the little bird. One day somebody brought a box to the king. It was another nightingale, but it was wood. "What's this?" the king asked. "It can't eat or drink. It can't walk or run. But can it sing?" He looked at his servants. "Let's hear it." Somebody turned the key. The nightingale could only sing one song, but it sang this song many times. Then the king said, "I want to hear my nightingale sing." "Where is it?" "It flew out of the open window to its home in the wood," a servant said. "It flew away." "Why?" the king asked. "That old nightingale isn't as good as this new bird," the king's friend said. "This nightingale will sing all day." The people in the city came and listened to the new bird. Its song made them very happy. But the old man from the wood said, "The new nightingale has a pretty voice, but the little nightingale's voice is better." The servants put the new nightingale on a table near the king's bed. People wrote long books about the new nightingale. Not many people could read these long books, but they liked them because the king did. The new nightingale sang for a year. The king, his friends, and the people in the city knew its song. It always sang the same song in the same way. So now, people could sing with the nightingale. The little boys in the street sang the nightingale's song. The king sang its song, too. "You sing beautifully," the servants told him, but one night there was a noise inside the nightingale. Bang! Now the bird could not sing. The king jumped quickly out of bed, and called for help. "Why can't the nightingale sing?" he asked. "Look inside it." A man opened the nightingale and looked inside it. Then he turned the key, and it sang again. But he said, "This bird can't sing every day now. It can only sing for one day every year." 5 years later, the king was very ill. People said, "He isn't going to live. There will be a new king, the king looked cold and white in his beautiful bed. He's dead, his friends thought. They went away and visited the new king, but the king was not dead. A window was open near his bed, and the king looked out at the beautiful sky. I'm going to die, he thought. I did many good things in my life, and many bad things, too. I don't want to think about those things. He called to the nightingale on the table. Sing, little nightingale, please, please, sing. But the nightingale did not sing. Then the king heard a sound outside, a beautiful voice. The nightingale from the wood sat on a tree and sang. It sang about beautiful flowers, and woods and gardens. The king was happy again. Thank you, he said to the bird. You beautiful little bird, you came back and helped me. I won't die now. What can I give you? You gave me something very beautiful when I first sang for you, the nightingale said. You cried. I will always remember that day. But I'll sing now, and you sleep, the nightingale sang and the king slept. Later he opened his eyes and saw the sun in the sky. Where are my servants? He asked. They aren't in the palace. Do they think I'm dead? Are they with the new king? The little nightingale sat next to him and sang. Please stay with me, the king said. I'll throw the other bird away. Don't throw the other bird away, said the nightingale. It wanted to make you happy, but it couldn't sing every day. I can't stay inside your palace because my home is in the woods. But I'll come here sometimes. I'll sit in this tree near your window and I'll sing for you. Then the nightingale flew away. The servants came into the room and looked at the dead king. But he was not dead. The king sat up. Good morning, he said. The Three Little Pigs, Chapter 1. A mummy pig lives in an old barn. She has 3 little baby pigs. The 3 little pigs are big now. You are too big to live here with me. You can go and build your houses. Be careful. The big bad wolf can catch you. Build strong houses. I will miss you, my little piggies, tells their mum. Bye, Mum. The 3 little pigs set off. The big bad wolf will not catch us, they say. The 3 little pigs walk along the path. They want to build 3 houses. They meet a man. The man has lots of straw. The first little pig thinks that he can build his house of straw. Please, can you give me some straw? Says the first little pig. Yes, I can, says the man. The first little pig builds his house of straw. Now the big bad wolf will not catch me. I build my house of straw. I build my house of hay. And I play around all day, says the first little pig. The 2 little pigs walk the path. And then they meet a man. He has lots of sticks. The second little pig thinks that he can build his house of sticks. Please, can you give me some sticks? Says the second little pig. Yes, I can, says the man. the second little pig builds his house of sticks. Now the big bad wolf will not catch me. I build my house of sticks. I build my house of twigs. And I play on the fiddle and dance all day, says the second little pig. They build their houses very fast. They sing and dance all day. They are lazy. The third little pig walks the path. And then he meets a man. The man has lots of bricks. The third little pig thinks that he can build his house of bricks. He is clever. Please, can I have some bricks? Says the third little pig. Of course, says the man. The third little pig works hard all day. He builds his house of bricks. I build my house of stone. I build my house of bricks. I have no time to sing and dance. I do not mix work and play. Two little pigs laugh at the third little pig. Ha ha ha. The third little pig builds a very strong house. You can play and laugh and fiddle. I will be safe and you'll be sorry when the big bad wolf comes to your door, says the third little pig. But two little pigs still laugh at the third little pig. They sing and dance. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf, big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Tra-la-la-la-la. The big bad wolf lives in the forest. One day he sees the first little pig in his house of straw. He is hungry. He loves to eat fat little piggies. I smell a little pig, says the big bad wolf. Knock, knock, knock. He knocks on the door and says gruffly, little pig, let me come in. Oink, oink. No, no, no. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I won't let you in, says the little pig. The big bad wolf growls, grr. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. The big bad wolf huffs and puffs and blows the house down. The little pig runs away. Oink, oink. Help! Help! The wolf is here. He runs to his brother's house. The wolf then comes to the house of sticks. The two little pigs are in the house. Knock, knock, knock. He knocks on the door and says gruffly, little pigs, let me come in. Oink, oink. No, no, no. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. We won't let you in, say the little pigs. The big bad wolf growls, grr. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. The big bad wolf huffs and puffs and blows the house down. The little pigs run away. Oh no! Help! Help! The wolf is here. They run to their brother's house. The wolf then comes to the house of bricks. Knock, knock, knock. He knocks on the door and says gruffly, little pigs, let me come in. Oink, oink. No, no, no. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. We won't let you in, say the three little pigs. The big bad wolf growls, grr. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Well, the wolf huffs and puffs, and huffs and puffs, and huffs and puffs again, but he cannot blow down that brick house. The house is too strong. the big bad wolf is not happy. He is very angry and very hungry. The wolf is a sly old wolf and he climbs up on the roof. The little pig sees the wolf climb up on the roof. And they light fire in the fireplace. They put a big pot with hot water on it. Then the wolf comes down the chimney to get 3 little pigs. Splash! He falls down into that hot pot of water. He is surprised. He jumps out of the pot and runs out of the door. He never comes back. The 2 little pigs now feel sorry for being so lazy. They too build their houses of bricks and live happily. Chapter 1. The Wolf. A prince called Llewellyn once lived in a big stone castle in Wales. He had only one baby son. His beautiful wife died when the baby was born. Llewellyn loved his son more than anything in the world. Prince Llewellyn was rich and important. He had a lot of brave soldiers and loyal servants. He also had an old, loyal dog called Gellert. Gellert always traveled with the prince and fought with him in a lot of battles. He was the bravest dog in Wales and the prince's most loyal friend. Gellert loved Llewellyn's son very much and always protected him. "You're my best friend, Gellert," the prince often said. "I trust you more than anyone in the world. Only you can look after my son." Gellert was always happy when the prince spoke to him. One sunny day there was a big hunt on Prince Llewellyn's lands. There were a lot of hunting dogs and hunters on their horses near the castle. Llewellyn heard the hunting horns and got ready for the hunt. "I must go hunting today, Gellert," said the prince. "It's the first hunt of the season and it's a beautiful day." Gellert looked at his master and barked happily. He liked hunting and wanted to go too. "No, Gellert," said the prince. "You must stay by my son's cradle and protect him until I come back." Gellert looked up at the prince and listened carefully. "Protect my son with your life," said the prince. "I trust only you, because you're my most loyal friend. I know you understand me." He patted Gellert lovingly and the dog wagged his tail happily. The prince's son slept in the wooden cradle in his bedroom. Gellert went to the cradle and looked at the sleeping baby. Then he lay down on the floor next to the cradle and put his nose between his paws. Prince Llewellyn was ready for the hunt and looked at the cradle again before leaving. "Sleep well, my dear son," said the prince, smiling. "You're safe with old Gellert. He'll look after you until I come back." Then Prince Llewellyn left the castle with the other hunters. Everything was peaceful and silent for some time in the baby's bedroom. But after a few hours Gellert heard a noise. Something was standing outside the door and was trying to get in. Gellert knew there was danger because he could hear growling. He got up quietly, went to the door and saw a wolf looking at him. He was much taller than Gellert, but he was thin. He was very hungry because it was difficult to find food at the end of winter. He smelled the baby inside the room and he wanted to eat it. Gellert looked angrily at the wolf's eyes. They stood at the door for a few minutes growling at each other. Then suddenly the hungry wolf jumped towards the cradle. Chapter 2: The Fight. Gellert jumped on the hungry wolf and pulled him away from the cradle with his strong teeth. He did not want to wake up the sleeping baby. The black wolf was a strong fighter. He bit Gellert's neck and legs, but the old dog continued fighting bravely. Nothing could stop Gellert. It was a long, terrible fight. But the baby slept peacefully and did not wake up. Suddenly the cradle turned over and the baby fell onto the stone floor, but still he did not wake up. During the fight, both animals were hurt and there was blood on the floor, on the walls and on the baby's white blanket. Gellert was badly hurt, but he did not stop fighting. He knew he had to protect the prince's son. He bit the wolf's throat very hard, and suddenly the wolf was silent. He slowly went to a dark corner of the room and died. Gellert went to the sleeping baby and looked at him. He took the white blanket with his teeth and pulled it over the baby. Then he lay down and fell asleep. He was very tired after the long fight, but he was happy because the baby was safe. That night Prince Llewellyn returned from the hunt. He immediately went to see his son. When the prince walked into the room, Gellert got up and went to him. The prince saw the empty cradle. "What happened here?" he cried, looking at Gellert. Then he saw the blood on the walls, on the floor, on the white blanket and on the baby's face. But he did not see the dead wolf in the dark corner of the room. "Oh, no!" cried the prince. His face was red with anger. "Gellert, what did you do? You killed my son, my only son. And I trusted only you." He took his sword and raised it high above the dog's head. Gellert jumped up and barked happily. He wanted to play. He wanted praise because he saved the baby's life. He looked at the prince with his big, brown eyes, trying to tell him something. But the prince was very angry and killed Gellert with his sword. The poor dog fell at the prince's feet. Suddenly the baby woke up and started crying. He was on the cold, stone floor, and he was hungry. When Prince Llewellyn heard the baby crying, his sword fell on the floor. He was alive. He looked around the room and saw the dead wolf in a dark corner. Then he understood. There was a terrible fight in this room between Gellert and the wolf, he thought. The wolf wanted to eat my son and Gellert protected him. What did I do? He cried angrily. I killed Gellert. Oh, what a terrible mistake. He put his face in his hands and started crying. He could not stop. He looked at Gellert's body and saw the bites of the wolf. He slowly took the dog's body in his arms. My great and loyal friend, said the prince, crying. You fought bravely against the wolf and saved my son's life. But I didn't understand. I'm very sorry, Gellert. Prince Llewellyn looked at his dog and said, I'll always remember the first time we went hunting. And all the battles we fought together. Oh, what will I do without you, Gellert? Prince Llewellyn could never forget that terrible day. He decided to bury Gellert in the graveyard of the village. On that day, people from the castle and the village were there. Everyone was very sad. Every morning Prince Llewellyn brought beautiful flowers to Gellert's tomb and said, "Good morning, old friend. If you visit the graveyard of Bedgelert in Wales today, you can see the old tombstone and read Gellert's